IBHA.
Hi everyone, I'm Janvi. I'm pleased to introduce you to Dr. Gus Lyn-Puliso. He is from Toronto. When did you first develop interest in big history and why?
Well, I think I've been interested in big history for a long time without knowing that there was a term called big history. My education goes back to Deweyan philosophy, to Deweyan education philosophy, which is about interdisciplinary connections and having people engage in the scientific method in the real world for themselves. Then about 10 years ago, or maybe 12, something like that, I came across David Christian's work, Maps of Time, and the term big history. And I learned more and more about it and became more excited about the potential of teaching it. And I proposed it at the college, and it was accepted. And I've been teaching it now for about 9 or 10 years. I always look for the wide angle perspective. I always look for how things are connected. And big history was basically saying, this is what we need to do more of. And here's a framework for it.
How do you practice big history in your everyday life?
Well, I think that obviously the biggest way I practice it is in my teaching. So for 3 hours, 4 times a week, I'm engaging students in big history. My most favorite part about teaching big history and engaging in big history is that students who are exposed to it start to realize that they are needed in the world to make it better. In other words, each individual has a role to play around things like climate change, around things like racism, around things like war and violence and all the rest. And by looking at the world through these wide angles and seeing how things connected, they can start situating themselves in this worldview and start to realize that, yes, you are important to yourself and your kin is important to you, but so are your peers and your community. And you can expand the circle of concern outward right to the biosphere. It allows us to start recognizing how we are connected beyond our self and immediate family. And that is incredibly important. So, my teaching in that sense is teaching, but it's also a political act. In my own world, I'm trying to get a garden that's flourishing. How do you do that? Well, you can just plant the plants and worry about the plants, or you can just worry about the plants and the fertilizer, or you can try to create the soil environment so that all organisms within the soil that are needed are allowed to flourish. And then, therefore, you're creating this ecosystem for the whole thing to flourish. Easier said than done, in my case, downtown Toronto, but one tries. One tries because I'm human. And as a human, I want the best for this world. And in particular, right now, two little people that I'm very proud of, which was my two granddaughters. So if I could do these sort of things, maybe make the world a little bit better for them, maybe model a behavior for them, maybe help my students understand the world, help them model something for them, then just maybe our world will be in better hands in the next generation.
Is there anything that you would like to add?
I can say that I have taught a variety of subject at the college in 31 years now that I've been teaching. However, teaching big history brings a joy that the others possibly can't. I've never felt so happy with my work than in my teaching of this particular course, because it connects me to the students in a way that the other courses couldn't. Um, I'm not just a professor when I teach big history. I'm um, someone on the journey with the students. We get excited together about some new idea or some new connection that we make. So it's not a top-down course where I tell them what is right and what is wrong, or what is true and what is not true. Not at all. We discover it together. Because it's not like you can teach everything in the whole 13.8 billion years of the universe. You can't teach that. It's impossible. So instead, what we do is we come up with ideas together and we start to see, look what was written in this book, and look what's over here. And oh, look, I see this in my life this way. Oh, and it's a journey with the students, and you just feel so happy. I never feel exhausted after class. I feel invigorated. So that's what it's done for me.
IBHA